I mean, what is natural when you think about it? A Black Widow spider's natural. I don't want to smoke it. Even though I hear it feels great. Try it at home.
What are you fucking talking about?
I don't know.
Kieran.
Kieran's here.
Yeah.
We're here. I'm here. I'm Ben.
I'm Scott.
And we're all here. We're here to talk about anime, FMK. That's our show every week. We got cards. If we like an anime, we can hold up a beautiful purpley eggplant.
Or maybe we hate that anime and we want it to die. So we hold up the knife.
But that won't happen this time.
Nope. No killing.
Yep.
No kill rule. This is DC up in this bitch.
Yep.
We just have to be considerate
Yep.
to everything.
I would like to propose that next season we no longer have that 3-episode kill rule.
Somebody's got some issues, and I am so excited.
I am not going to propose that we decide that right now because I feel that would be unfair to change the rules midway, but I think that is something we should consider for next season.
I'm excited.
On the other hand, we also had this idea that, well, what if we can kill something in the first 3 episodes, but if we do, we replace it? Mm-hmm. I don't think I like that rule either. I think
kind of want to kill it and not have to watch another half hour of stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, we can always add stuff if we all 3 decide, hey, this looks good, we're going to watch it. We don't need anybody's fucking permission to do that.
It would be cool if we had a period of time, like within the first month, if something drops and everyone's like, oh shit, this ended up being really good, but didn't end up making it on the list. I think we can be like, okay, that.
I don't think it needs to be a rule, though, because here's the thing. You tell me, hey, Ben, you can kill something, but you got to replace it, and I'm looking at the list of potential replacements, and I'm like, nah, I'm already watching 20 things a week right now.
Yeah.
Yep. But speaking of 20 things a week, that's 2 episodes each of 10. We've got 10 shows to talk about here.
2 episodes each.
Yep, because we try to stay current, we try to stay caught up, but guess what? Watching 20 episodes in 4 days was already a stretch. I didn't want to make it 30, so we're talking about episodes 1 and 2 of a bunch of stuff. Next week, we'll be talking about a bunch of episodes 3 and 4. Then, hopefully by then, we'll be caught up with most everything, but...
And some things will be dead.
Yep. Speaking of things that I want dead, not to tip my hand, let's jump right in and talk about Comic Girls. In episode 1, Pink Moe Blob moves into an all-girls dorm for manga authors to learn how to manga better. She rooms with Blonde Moe Blob, a shoujo author. They trade neuroses and become best friends and latch on to Blue Moe Blob, who draws shonen, and Purple Moe Blob, who draws hentai, as their senpais. They all help Blue Moe Blob finish a manga on a tight deadline. And then in episode 2, the Moe Blobs go to the art store, then they go to school. I don't know who this is for, but I know it's not me. If I could put these characters into the world of Magical Girl Sight, I would. I hate this fucking show. This show is bad, and I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's not good.
I think here's the thing. When I said in my preview thing, the anime bullshit this has is way up there, man. We're talking 99 proof anime bullshit. But I don't know. Sometimes I want that. Sometimes I just want anime bullshit. And this is that. And I actually laugh sometimes in this. If you can handle that. Some people can't handle the smell and taste of paint remover. But if you can, it's all right.
Oh my god, I should hate this show. I should be so...
I feel you.
I hate Moe. Not all Moe. I love Azumanga Daioh. I love Nichijou. I probably would like Heian for the most part.
I like parts of it, yeah.
I like the show and I feel like garbage, but there's something about it that just...
Yeah.
I know these tropes. I know what they're doing. I get the jokes. So when they happen, I'm like, oh, cool, they subverted that. Or they just ran full into it.
Yeah, they just do it.
And the art and animation is just good enough to where they want to do their big dramatic scenes and they work. I mean, dramatic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry, not sorry, but I laughed. I laughed at this show.
Me too.
I liked that. I liked that it got laughs out of me. And these the worst part of the show is the main character, like by like a million miles.
She's the worst.
But everyone after
Also,
her,
the other characters, those are also the worst.
my
the
God,
setting is the
wrong.
worst.
you don't
the
like
is the worst.
You don't like hentai. You don't like hentai senpai.
Hentai Senpai is so good.
I would rather watch actual hentai. then at least I could fap to something.
I just love the fact that she wants to be a mom. That's the entire thing.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
she's just this motherly character who wants to draw cute manga. I just love the fact that the first time she meets like Moe-tan, she's like, huh, she'd look really cute in a kigurumi. Starts having
and
this
then
little
instantly
story where
going
she
down
goes,
like, what if this wolf pinned her down?
like she goes,
oh,
she
man.
goes, she goes out to a little picnic with all the animals, but it was a trap by the big bad wolf.
There, in the second episode, there was one joke that I laughed at, which was that purple moe blob hentai girl. They're at school and they're talking about, oh, do you let people know that you draw manga? Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's, she hears everybody like whispering, I hear she's got some kind of sketchy job. Yeah, I should. And the joke is that she doesn't want people to know she draws hentai. Instead, they think that she's a call girl.
Yeah.
And so everything they're saying has a double meaning. And that was legitimately clever, and I laughed. That does not make up for the other 43 minutes that I spent of my life between these two episodes wanting to slit my wrists. This is the worst. I don't even know you two anymore.
Nah, it's
That's not true. I know you.
yeah. You what'd you expect?
I expected better of you.
I expected better of me, but the fact is, I know the jokes. I get what they're doing, and I don't know, man. I thought I'd hate this. I was 100% certain that I was going to be in the exact same boat as you. Okay? So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to hold this up one more time and be like, yo, man, this next episode could do it.
Yeah.
It's called Jiggle Jiggle Bounce. It could be.
Yeah, it could be egregious enough with nothing funny, and that's all it needs to like say fuck it.
Yeah. So, but these first two episodes, I laughed.
Same.
Well, that's a double fuck, so I guess that 3-episode rule doesn't matter too much, at least in that case. Let's see if that's still the case for Wotakoi. Love is hard for otaku. So I did my little plot summary of episode 1 last week. Short version. Yaoi girl goes to a new workplace where everyone's an otaku and starts dating a Monster Hunter boy. In episode 2, Yaoi girl and Monster Hunter are ostensibly dating, but they don't know how to actually do that, so they awkwardly avoid each other instead. Megalobox and Orange Boy have a proxy argument about it. Monster Hunter apologizes for making things weird and says they were closer when they were friends. Yaoi girl apologizes for being awkward and says it made her happy when he asked her out. Then all 4 of them go to a bookstore.
And I like that as soon as they were done, they were going to go to a bar, but they were like, nah, I want to go do my shit.
Yep. That is scarily accurate.
I know. And that's the thing I think that this has going for it is it's because I know this. And like this is it's super relatable. But they kind of really heavily do the references, and I'm not jiving with that when they do them.
They pull a full Evangelion, and they even call it out.
Yeah.
I think my biggest problem with this show is that you can't just have your characters say how they feel. That makes me feel angry. I said last time that this is really broad and obvious, and yeah, there's no nuance to it. There's no subtlety. It's just everything it wants to say is right out there.
Yeah.
Also, the 2 ostensible romantic leads have zero chemistry. If the show were about the friendship between Yaoi Girl and Megalobox, I think it would be a way more interesting show. Those 2 characters have chemistry.
The interesting thing about that is I believe that's their purpose at the outset, because everyone knows ostensibly that this is a romance comedy about otaku. And the idea that at first, yeah, they don't have chemistry is kind of interesting because, that kind of is a subversion of expectations, but it's also explained to a certain extent that they used to be friends and then they fell apart. So now they're in this awkward place of, can they be friends? Can they be close? Can they be a couple? And we see a little bit at the end of the second episode of that warmth, a little bit of a spark there. I think that was intentional of like, yeah, maybe there is something there. We don't know. I mean, it's a romance anime, so they're probably going to end up together. I mean, there's not much of a will they, won't they? But I don't know. Am I alone here in thinking that Green Girl's the best character in the show?
No, she's great.
Yeah. She's just a million miles away, the most interesting character. And Redhead is right next, like just below her in terms of like, okay, man, you're obviously a nerd. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Gon.
I hadn't thought of it, but as soon as you said, you know who it reminds me of, I'm sitting here like it's gone.
Yeah, a sporty nerd who doesn't like let it show.
Yeah.
But once he gets around other people who know about and who know that world, he's like, yeah. So let's talk about Monster Hunter or whatever.
I'm curious to see more of him because I see those like glimmers of. Like, I hope that's his deal. I don't think we've seen quite enough of him to be able to say yet. But.
I don't know what he's actually interested in. Like, he's the one guy out of all four of them, like, okay, but what's your thing?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, you don't think I was like, him and the green chick are going to hook up immediately.
Yeah. No, but yes, obviously him and the green chick are going to hook up. I mean, what's his... So she's into yaoi.
What's
the other
his
dude?
vice?
Yeah, the other dude's into like Monster Hunter. He's playing on the Switch, the actual Nintendo Switch, all the time.
An actual Monster Hunter.
Making everybody in the audience salty because there is not actual Monster Hunter on the actual Switch.
Yes,
which
there is.
Everybody is there?
In Japan.
Double cross.
Okay.
Also,
so
I'm
it's
gonna
just the American audience that's getting pissed about
Also,
that.
I'm going to call it that guy's lolicon.
Probably.
You know what? I would love it if that turns out to be the case.
Yeah, I won't lie to you because there's a small hint of it in that one scene in Animate, which by the way shows up both in this and in Comic Girls. Animate getting that advertisement, and it's pretty good. I've actually been to Animate, so it was really cool to like, hey, I've been there. Specifically to the store they go to, and so. But yeah, I'm curious what his is, and I'm not going to be surprised if in fact he's a lolly.
I can see that.
But I don't know. I'm into this, and I'm curious because I will agree the romance between the two main characters is weird and almost a non-starter. But the awkward and subversive approach to it is actually the thing that's got me sort of interested in.
Yeah, and I think that feeling is what they're going for, and I'm
Yeah.
curious what's going to happen. I foresee at some point in episode 6 they will take a break or break up or something. I wouldn't be surprised. Then come back together and blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
I don't know. It felt like they're trying to to just rush that whole thing. Like, yeah, okay, have it be awkward, have it be weird, but they try to wrap that up with a neat little bow in episode 2 where they get a big hug, and I'm sorry I made things weird. No, no, come, you know what? Drop it, make it awkward, make it weird, and then come back to it in 4 or 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then all that awkwardness has to last for 4 episodes, and honestly, I'd rather see them try to actually build a relationship instead of like.
I don't have any faith that. Like, it is so broad, it's so obvious, it's so rushed. Like, I want to see it done well, but it's not right now.
Well, so I think the issue here is that you are less familiar with these types of romances. I think you and I have seen plenty of these in our time. They're rushing through some of the other stuff because, first of all, a lot of it is kind of unnecessary to a certain extent to get this ball rolling. But secondarily, it's playing with a crowd that is already fully aware of this shit. So it might be to its detriment for a guy like you who's less familiar with these specific types of like Japanese romance stories. But for the rest of us, we're like, okay, cool. So they kind of just cut the fat on that part and then moved right into like this whole...
Yeah, they cut the fat down to the bone and handed me this bare-ass bone with no meat on it and said, is this what you want? And I said, no, thank you. I want meat.
I think you're judging it a little too early right now. I think it is intentionally supposed to make you feel that way. So if that's immediately turning you off, I don't blame you for it. But I think that's the intention.
I mean, that's the feeling I got too, but I was also more interested because of it. Like, I'm interested in this because it's doing it different. It's doing it very different. And that's one of the things that's got me curious about how they're going to handle it. So I'm like... There's enough going on in the show besides the romance anyway that's already got me interested. I like these characters' dynamic. I like these 4 as a whole. They synergize well.
Yeah.
So for me, their romance is actually almost a secondary thing. I'm curious how their group's going to evolve over the next couple of episodes.
I want the romance to be secondary because it is being done less well than everything else, but they're not treating it as secondary. They are front-loading it. They're putting that front and center and asking you to care about it, and I don't.
Well,
I don't think they're asking you to care about it. It's just like, we're friends. Let's just try it and see if it works. They're just doing goofy shit. But we're dating too.
But here's the thing: I'm not so much caring about them being a couple. I'm cared about their mental state and how they're reacting to it.
Yeah.
I care that her first response after them getting into a relationship is suddenly to hide from him. Because she realizes, oh shit, now he's my boyfriend and I have no idea how to handle this. I like the fact that his response, is unreadable because he's never done something like this and he has trouble expressing himself and talking. I know guys like him. I've met guys like him. I've hung out with guys like him. So to see this from this perspective is funny to me. I don't care so much about their relationship. I care about, okay, how are they going to respond to the scenarios they're putting themselves in because they're weird, antisocial otaku? And that's the funny part to me, not the romance part of it. That's almost secondary to their relationship, which is ostensibly to be boyfriend and girlfriend.
I mean, you say I'm not liking it because I haven't seen as much of this stuff, but some of it, oh my God, there are JRPG-style dialogue boxes. That's hilarious. I haven't seen that in 3 other shows that I could name off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, no. Some of that's yeah.
That's what I said. The references are way too ham-fisted when they do them sometimes.
Yeah, as a guy who really likes Scott Pilgrim, even I'm over here thinking, isn't that a little much?
It's been done, y'all.
Yeah, no, that stuff has been done.
I did it in Berserk Abridged, and it was a cliche back then. I was a hack.
That being said, when it works, it works. But they're also kind of shotgunning it. They're like, just throw a bunch of references in and see what works.
Yeah.
Although I shouldn't have liked the Gendo Ikari joke as much as I did, but that's because I'm just a stickler for that shot of Gendo Ikari. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that she flat out calls it out, Fuyutsuki, and I'm like...
they're labeling everybody and all that shit.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But then again, that kind of gave me this idea of, instead of just being a visual reference, it's actually diegetic, to which in that case...
they all get it.
Yeah, in that case, I'm like... that kind of makes it funnier to me. I don't know. It's like I'm on this weird point of wait, does that make it cringy or does that make it funnier? And I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here or there on it, so I'm not sure. I'm kind of where I stand. I'll tell you where I stand right now. I think it's fine. I think it's pretty good. If you know what you're getting, I don't think this is the best romance story, but just showing that weird nerd people trying to figure out what a relationship is. I think there's some entertainment in that.
Yeah. I actually really like these characters, and while, some of the relationships are kind of weird and jarring, and maybe poorly done, Ben might be right, it could just be poorly done, and I might be looking too far into it. I like this show, I like these characters, I like the relationships, and if it can balance out its references just a little bit better, this could be one of my favorite shows of the season if it continues on this upward trend.
I wish I had a third card. Because I can see the potential. I can. I've been ragging on this show real hard. Partly because I feel like somebody has to, because there are serious flaws here. It's not offensively bad, but it's not giving me what I want. And maybe I just have the luxury of holding up this knife because y'all just double eggplanted it. But honestly, if I were watching this solely for my own enjoyment, I probably would have dropped it. It could get better, and I hope it does, and I would love to hold up an eggplant in the future, but it's not earning that eggplant from me right now.
I hope it does. I honestly, because I hope it does, not just because I enjoy it, because I want you to have another Netju. That's what I want. I want you to have another MMO junkie.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that is a reason why I had my eye on this early on in the vetting process of what should be on the poll. That's giving me, just the fact that it's adult characters, nothing.
I know, saying that, I was like, yes, she's 26, thank God.
Yeah. I am more likely to relate to characters who are closer to my own age, and I haven't been in high school for a minute. But you know what else has no high schoolers yet? Maybe soon, I don't know. Space Battleship Tiramisu.
Oh my God.
In episode 1, Subaru, in addition to being the 22nd largest auto manufacturer worldwide, is also an Ace Gundam pilot. But he sucks at eating food in zero gravity and has weird nipples. It's hilarious. And then in episode 2, the trouble with tribbles happens. Then the ship's mechanic girlies up Subaru's sacred cockpit, which makes him so angry that he misses an important shot.
If this show weren't so short, I'd hate it.
I love the pacing is perfect for what it needs to do.
I kind of agree. Like, I honestly, going into this sort of humor feels like it could be really over the top and bad, but the fact that it happens as quickly as it does and is as blatantly off the wall as it is what's got me coming back to each joke later thinking, oh my God, that actually happens.
Yeah. No, I've seen both episodes now multiple times, and I still get a laugh out of a few moments, almost exclusively because of Subaru's performance and his yells, like when he has his shirt over his helmet getting hit. It's so good, like, because it's just, again, like when I said last week, it's like seeing Light getting taken down a peg, like Light Yagami thinking he's this super genius, but he can't deal with this dumb shit. That's how I feel about him.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being such a downer this episode.
You're fine.
And like, here's the thing: I'm not angry about this, like that last one where it's coming so close to giving me what I want, but flubbing it every time. This is just not for me. It's just not for me. I haven't watched a lot of like space opera anime, so I'm sure it's like hitting a bunch of reference points and genre tropes that are just going over my head. I mean, this is fine. It's inoffensive. It's very short, which I appreciate, but it's also not doing a lot for me.
Yeah, no, this is literally somebody just sat down with Gundam and was like, all right, I'm going to make Gundam, but I'm going to make it an Adult Swim comedy.
Yes.
With like an actual anime aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because that's exactly what it feels like to me. It feels like Adult Swim made this with an actual, like, with a Japanese animation studio. And I love the fact that Hummer comes in, by the way, all of their names are based off of car manufacturers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, double check.
Okay.
Like, go to the character list and you will find Hummer, Subaru, one of the generals. They're all based on the car manufacturers.
Obviously, I noticed Subaru. I did not notice the other one, but
yeah. The fact that when Hummer comes into to the shower room, he covers up his chest, and I'm like, buddy.
Yeah, I immediately like, why? What?
And then you find out he's got nipples.
Yeah, nips all the way over here.
And then he just ends up stripping down to nothing in the cockpit, and we get that stupid ass shot.
I couldn't stop laughing at the space chihuahua, though.
He puts him in a giant box.
In
That
a
was
box
cute.
out in space. That was so
cute.
good. Like, I thought like the second half wasn't as strong, but fuck, dude, the whole thing with him going to the captain and everything. It's like, I just want to keep Bitsy.
I feel like the part with the mechanic who ends up being kind of this old Japanese woman, like a housemaid or something, is a very Japanese thing.
Totally.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that's kind of more culturally relevant. I still found it funny enough, but I just love how he screams, fires, misses it, and you just get that screenshot.
yeah, I do like Hummer. That's the blonde guy, the other pilot guy. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like that whole thing where this, like in any other anime, this character Ace Pilot, like everybody would be sucking his dick all the time. And yeah, I like the fact that in this weird world, he's just kind of a nerd.
Yeah, and everyone's just cutting him down, and that's what I kind of like to see is because it's always been in every fucking mecha show, the god Ace Pilot. Everyone's like, oh my god, I can't believe how good he is.
Yeah.
Just like, but he can't fucking look at him being dumb.
Yeah.
He's just a dumb dude still.
Yep, and it doesn't seem like mean-spirited or anything.
No.
It's just like, hey, nerd, how you doing? Oh,
Yeah.
you gonna go study, nerd? Like, the sort of thing that you should have gotten over by the time you get out of high school, but these characters haven't. Like, that's a fun, relatable idea. It didn't quite, like, didn't make me fall in love with this, but it was something I could kind of glom onto.
And not to mention, let me reiterate, it's only 7 minutes.
Yeah, no, again, if this were any longer.
I think that is like one of its biggest strengths for me is I'm like, all right, I just need a quick chuckle. I got it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I hate being Mr. Downer, but
Hey,
it's
look,
just not my thing. You guys are probably going to eggplant it, and that's fine. I want you to have your thing.
I mean, I'm gonna eggplant it, 'cause I liked it well enough. But this is a show I see going the way of Pop Team Epic for me. This is a show that I full and well expect in the next couple of episodes to stop getting as many laughs out of me, and by the end of the season will probably be dead. But as it stands right now, I'm getting laughs, and that's good. I like that. I like having anime that makes me laugh. I don't get enough of those.
I love it. It's everything I want out of a show. This is feels like something I would write. It's just so goofy, and it knows how to deal with stuff in a very realistic way. What are you doing in a cockpit? How do you eat food in zero gravity? All this kind of just dumb stuff that the things people don't think about, and all the mecha shows that take themselves way too seriously. And I appreciate how lighthearted it is.
Well, speaking of lighthearted, let's talk about Gegege no Kitaro. Kitaru or Kitaro?
Kitaro.
Kitaro. In episode 1, Logan Paul makes a dickhole of himself in Shibuya and turns into a tree. Everyone starts taking pictures of him with their smartphones, and they all turn into trees too. So Mana and her friends, who disappear and apparently aren't a factor later, send a letter to the mythical Sandaljack, a small boy who handles spooky shit. He shows up and reveals that it's all because Logan Paul unsealed a centuries-old Cyclops yokai ghost thingy whose deal is turning people into trees. Sandaljack fights it but gets his ass kicked until he somehow deduces that the secret weakness of a ghost whose most defining feature is its giant eyeball. Spoiler, that weakness is not kicking it in the groin. Then a spooky archer shows up and shoots Sandaljack. Cliffhanger. And then in episode 2, Sandaljack wakes up in his treehouse. Apparently he had magical plot armor on, so the arrow didn't kill him, making that whole cliffhanger instantly pointless. Meanwhile, a rat man, who it seems like we're supposed to know, but we don't, accidentally unseals an Oni who looks like Uncle Iroh, so I will call him Ironi. The two of them steal just shy of 50,000 souls at a concert, which they can apparently do, because the Ironi needs 50,000 souls to become giant and rule Japan, which is apparently also a thing. Sandaljack shows up and there's a big, silly fight scene, but it turns out that all that actually needed to happen to banish Ironi was for a human to say the magic password. Nothing in this plot makes any sense. So Mana does that. The end. Show's fucking incoherent.
It's a little bit. I'm kind of sad because the first episode had some promise. Okay, yeah, introduce us to the concept, get us a little bit, and get us refamiliarized with these characters, or familiarized with these characters if you've never seen it before, i.e. American. But yeah, the second episode just is hey, here's Neko Musume, aka Cat Chick. Here's the rat dude. Here's all of Kitaro's friends. And it's kind of oh, cool. It's kind of weird to have this all just thrown in here right away, and kind of just go right into the plot of the day. And yeah, when they bring Mona in there and fucking Eyeball Dad is just oh, she just had to say the magic words. Why didn't you lead with that? I don't understand. I legitimately was wait, you knew that and you still had people fight him? What the hell? I mean, it was all just a way to show that Kitaro can move between the spiritual world and the human world, but I think we already got
by
that
show,
anyway.
do you mean tell? Because they didn't show shit. He just kind of shows up again and says, oh, by the way, I can do that.
I can do this. It's my power.
I feel like the both show and tell you.
No, they only tell you.
I mean, he shows back up after being
He
sent
comes
from-
out of a hole.
Yeah, he comes out of a hole.
Does he?
Yeah.
He comes out of a hole.
Yeah.
And then he lands and tells you what he did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to see the spirit world. That sounded like a cool thing.
We probably will, but I mean, one, I'd like to point out that the production values on this are decent.
They are.
Yeah.
The show looks good enough. It has some cut corners here or there, but it's a Toei animation show, so for kids specifically. So you're gonna get some of that. But yeah, no, the stories here suck. These are poorly told stories. And I like the idea of a weekly yokai, let's go solve a mystery with our quirky looking characters. And I love the character designs. They're legitimately classic, late 60s mixed with a modern aesthetic, which I'm all about. But
they have the personality of a plastic bag.
kind of.
And they're all so boring.
Also-
Kitaro is maybe the most boring protagonist I've ever seen.
Yeah. Also, fucking Ratman's got to stream like a garden hose. Like
I
Jesus
know,
Christ.
right?
Ratman was the only part of this that I enjoyed because he's a fun presence on screen.
You mentioned like we're supposed to already know him. This is the thing from the 60s. I'm sure that people actually know who this character is, and I already went in like, okay, so he's probably a fan favorite and my favorite because they had some fun with him.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just so serious and like,
I like Neko Musume too.
oh yeah, I like her.
She's fun.
I dig on her.
It'd be nice if I know every show has to have 2 female characters. That's got to check those check boxes. Mana is a non-entity, and get rid of her.
Yeah, no, Mona is the audience XP, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, please. The
just-
moment she showed up, I was like, nope, you're basically just here to be the girl who's never seen any of this stuff before and is supposed to react to all the craziness. We don't need you. Yu Yu Hakusho didn't need you. No, like, fucking Yokai Watch kind of didn't need you. I mean, there's just, I don't like these characters, and she's the worst kind. The one
Yeah.
with no personality.
I would have so much rather seen like we get the glimpse of like I started actually caring when Kitaro like is recovering from his injury and you see all the other wacky yokai monsters. I'm like, yes, show me that.
Yeah, show me what his deal is. He lives in this treehouse. Cool. Jump. Nope. We're gonna. Okay.
Oh
fine.
man, yeah. What if the entire episode had been about introducing us to the side cast? Like, hey, this is this guy's deal, and instead of, oh nope, we have to have another yokai of the day, and it's like, no, don't do that. We don't need another yokai of the day, especially not big eyeball guy who needs 50,000 souls.
But we did have Ratman and he was fun.
It was fun.
I
I
like
like he sings in the opening.
Yeah.
He might be singing the whole opening. I don't know, but I like the opening.
Oh yeah, I love.
It's
opening's
catchy.
neat.
It's fun.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about the openings, but the openings for Comic Girls is Moe bullshit, and the opening for Wotakoi, well, visually appealing. I could not.
Oh, I
come
love
apart.
it.
I
It's got
love
Tsukima from Tsukima Switch. Fuck yeah.
the first half of that opening is whatever, but as soon as they go into everybody doing the hand jive, like it's well
Oh
animated.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
it.
The
Yeah.
tutting. Yeah, I was actually all about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, gay, no gay. I'm like fucking okay. I'm on board. Like those first couple of opening bars, and the entire way through, it's just classic 1960s, and I'm
Yep. And it introduces you right away to, by the way, this is for kids. Did you know ghosts don't have to go to school? They don't have to take tests. It must be real cool to be a ghost.
Wow.
yeah.
There's my escapist fantasy. So, also, the first of these 2 episodes had some real good Trans-Siberian Orchestra sounding music tracks that
yeah.
I was hoping was just going to be the style for this show. Didn't really have them in that second episode. That made me sad.
Cool thing. That's actually the same. It's the same composer as Naruto Shippuden.
Ah.
Oh,
Which-
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
I can
I,
see,
you know, I was
yeah.
getting a vibe of that, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yep.
yeah, he's got a big thing for what's it called? Old Japanese music. Basically old Japanese music mixed with
He likes
modern
the
rock.
shamisen.
Yeah, he loves. Oh yeah, man's monster on the shamisen. But yeah, so I'm just gonna hold this up.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, like, look, man, I want to like this. I want to like it a lot because I love the idea of Gegege no Kitaro for the modern. Like, I'm all about, like, oh, yeah, bring back this ancient property that everybody loved to the modern day. Because I love reinventing and finding new things you can do with old properties. This isn't it, man. These stories suck. These side characters, like, are either not introduced very well or are boring. And I don't know. Maybe the third episode will be better, but I don't have much hope.
Do you want to go?
Yep, what he said. This has some pretty good production values. Like the fight scenes are well animated, but there's no stakes to any of it. And it seems like at least of these 2 episodes, it's going to be Monster of the Week, and it's always going to be Kitaro fights it for a while and does his flashy attacks, but does nothing until he figures out whatever its flashing weak point is. That's real boring. You can skip ahead to the flashing weak point if that's how you're going to do. Not feeling it.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the whole thing was the eye catches because they showed like all the old pictures of the yokai and like manga excerpts, and you could see like how cool they look. here they're like really flashy, and I feel like a lot of the details kind of being lost in that. And I love learning about like ancient folklore monsters. That's really fun to me. They don't explore that, and because we just get, oh yeah, just say this and he's dead at the last 2 seconds. And
Why? Why does that work?
I'd like to know why. Just delve, like, you can exposit a bit. You actually can get away with that here because it's a cool subject. But everyone's boring.
Yep.
You know what would have been great? An ongoing storyline where they could have actually taken some time. Like, hey, but how about 2-part arcs? Like, hey, here's where we introduce
We'll
it.
get there, I assume.
It feels like they're setting up for that with Mr. Spooky Archer Man.
Which
Putting up
Mr.
the pentagram.
Yeah, Mr. Spooky Archer Man was the one thing that I was like, okay, you seem like you have some promise.
Yeah. So if we're sticking with the 3-episode rule, then we got another couple of these to go next week. We'll see. Maybe it gets better. Who knows?
I would love to hold up an eggplant next week. You guys don't know.
Yeah,
I would love that.
I mean, it's got some stuff going for it, but it's somebody in one of the comments, I forget where, said something like, "How come some things get a pass on this show just because they have good storytelling?" That's not a pass. That's the one thing that I want. like this can be a real pretty show, and that's fine. But it's got to have at least some storytelling, and right now it's dropping that ball real hard. But let's see how many balls Lupin III Part V has to offer. Okay, I guess I did the first episode synopsis. I won't belabor that too much. Short version: Marco Polo. It's Silk Road. Lupin steals from him. Now he's got people crowdsourcing the Lupin game. Everybody in the world's looking for him. In episode 2, Lupin and the crew escape the airport and make their way to Bowanda, a nation that lacks extradition treaties but makes up for it with dope resorts. Lupin posts vacation photos everywhere, reasoning that people will get bored trying to track down somebody who isn't actually trying to hide. The Marco Polo owners switch tactics and start a website where people can gamble on when Lupin will die, causing a group of assassins with silly themes to attempt to kill him and win this pool of death, or deadly betting pool, as it is sometimes known.
So I did not like Part 4 of Lupin. I didn't like its opening premise with Rebecca. I actually actively disliked her. I was not a fan of the music, and the setting was very up and down for me because while I love the idea of it being set in Italy, the entire thing was kind of set in Italy, and they didn't really do a lot with it to my satisfaction. I watched a handful of episodes throughout that season. A couple were good. Most of them were whatever. And again, the music was not the Japanese music, which was legitimately better. And it even had different openings and endings that were terrible. This season fixes all of those problems and then some for me. The opening and I just got to get it out there. The openings and endings for this show. Oh my shit. Like the ending with Fujiko is one of the most beautiful endings I've ever seen from an anime, and that opening is so colorful and cute and creative. Thank you God for these openings and endings. And that doesn't even get into the show, which already has a good hook on me. I love this.
It looks incredible. Like I was just consistently amazed by how good a lot of the shots were, how dynamic, like the car chase shows up, looked pretty good. Expressions are always on point. So fun, so goofy. Everything I love about Lupin was just full force everywhere. You can tell Seiyu for Jigen's getting up there in age, but I'm glad he's just still doing it. I can tell he's having fun.
I watched all of these episodes, everything on here, except for My Hero. I watched all of these with Gavin over the weekend because he was actually in town, and he was like, "I love the show. I hate Gavin's voice. I hate Jigen's voice actor." And I'm like, "Ah, shit." And I'm like, "Yep, he's struggling. He's struggling a little bit."
But I still appreciate it, and I love how they're introducing like modern day elements. It's actually really fun seeing them interact with that. And the new character who they have there for that purpose. Like I didn't even think like, oh, this is who Lupin's gonna hook up with. Ami? No, she's just there to be the hacker because they don't fucking know what they're doing. And I appreciate that.
I would like that more, except that in the first episode, Lupin's got his magic hacking monocle that can, like, hack anything somehow, and so much of the fun of Lupin is the heists, even when they're totally ridiculous and make no goddamn sense if you think about it for a hot second. Like, just how is he gonna get out of this one? And this was kind of here or there on that. Like, the first heist in the first episode, there was a lot of, oh, my magic hack anything monocle just hacked through this door. I didn't need to do anything fun or cool or engaging to make that happen. On the other hand, like in the second episode where they hijacked the VTOL, they did a great job of planning that Chekhov's gun. Like, oh, why did he hijack a Tesla there? It seems like an odd choice.
So cool.
Oh shit, he used it to jumpstart this VTOL that they cut the power. It can't, its electric starter won't work, but he hooked it up to the battery and jumpstarted it. Like, stuff like that, that's what I tune into Lupin to see. So I feel like I'm maybe not quite as warm on this, but like even when I have something that I'm kind of shaking my head or like not feeling, like it's kind of coasting on my affection for Lupin, affection for these characters. The new character, Ami, I could kind of take or leave. She can be fun. On the other hand, sometimes she's there to hold an iPad and look things up on Google Maps, which is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But
Well, her character is frustrating for me because on one hand, she's got some great scenes. On the other hand, I'm like, oh God, I'm sure there are human beings who exist like you, but I think they're so few and far between that I just am not sure that she is. I feel like she is just really, how do you put this? I guess unrealistic. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this character, this like over the top, dry, ignorant character who's all about, oh, but that doesn't calculate. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I get it.
yeah.
But on the other hand, she's done really well. Like, she's a very good version of that character. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I can judge her quite yet because she's
Yeah.
being set up to be mysterious and like she's clearly got some kind of deal that we're gonna get into later. I'm willing to suspend judgment until we learn a little more about her. She's not like harming my enjoyment of this actively most of the time. So largely, I think she's kind of a non-entity, and that's fine. I'll be happy to learn more about her later. Or maybe disappointed, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to wait.
And one thing I do like about this is I'm used to like a lot of the episodic stuff. This is the whole continuous thing. And the 2 episodes that we've seen have ended with cliffhangers. And I kind of dig it.
yeah. Also, watching Lupin use social media makes me
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's great. I never knew I needed this in my life.
Yeah,
But
it's so perfect.
Lupin on Instagram is like, I don't even know how to handle this.
It fits so well because he is so goofy and he's such a showboat, and that is such a natural fit for, hey, look at me hanging out with these hot girls. All right, look at me eating dinner with Jigen.
And for those of you who have seen Agretzko, all I can imagine is just Fujiko, dessert, thigh pick, dessert, thigh pick.
I like people on the internet saying that Lupin and Jigen are lovers. Isn't that cute?
That was great.
I love that.
And I just love
And he plays it into it. I love it.
And Jigen's response of like, we are not lovers, he is just my partner.
You
just
could have
like-
said friend.
Would I ever kill you to say friend?
Yeah, a lot of nostalgia, a lot of coasting on Lupin. I agree, but what they have added here, I think, is really cool. I think it's doing a lot for me. It looks excellent, and just seeing how well these designs are like moving so fluidly, it feels really fun, and I think that's just the bottom line.
I like the fact that this is a very, very modern take on Lupin, but it's still capturing a lot of the fun spirit and being very creative about how it wants to tell its story and the places it wants to go. I also like the fact that we have seen Zenigata and Fujiko, but their involvement has been either limited to an understandable and reasonable extent, or literally just flashes over to Fujiko, like as she's reading and keeping up on this. I feel like if they had tried to push them more in there and make them a bigger part of this, it would have taken away from the story that's trying to be told. So good on them for finding a balance. This is my favorite Lupin series since 2. That makes me very happy. I'm ecstatic, and I'm hoping to God that this holds up.
No, I hate that I'm just being the downer straight through here. So I'm going to stop. This is good. This is enjoyable. This isn't fucking Shakespeare, but it's a good time. It does a great job, largely, of blending the new elements with that old nostalgia. I don't think it leans on the nostalgia so hard that it's doing a bad. I think it brings in what you need to keep me coming back for more, and I'm happy to come back for more next week.
Yay.
So, hey, we got a trifecta on the board. First time that's happened this week.
Oh, yeah. Way to go, Lupin.
Yeah, you done did it, boy.
I didn't even want you on this list because I was so afraid of part 4, but part 5, knocking it out of the park.
Well, let's talk about Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online.
Oh my God, I forgot I watched this.
Yeah. So,
I didn't.
yeah. Episode 1 we talked about last time. There's some PUBG and a lot of nitpicking.
Yeah.
In episode 2, in an episode-long flashback, Len recalls how she got into PUBG and met and befriended another player with a female avatar named Pito. Remember all those nitpicks I had last episode? This one does nothing to address any of them, and in fact, introduces several new ones.
Why would you play a game where your avatar is randomly generated?
Why are there so many games where they are randomly generated?
Oh, the 35th reroll. Finally, I can play the game. How much was this? Why are you playing this game?
This feels like it was written by somebody who read a newspaper article about PUBG but has never actually played a video game.
Totally, yeah, it feels like they have no idea what it is, what they're fucking talking about. Like, I can see they're wanting to do more dramatic elements, but everything is so, like, fucking surface level people that don't play video games, what they see the benefit being. Oh, she has wish fulfillment. She doesn't want to be tall, but she can be short in the game. It's so endearing. Aren't games magical? Shut the fuck up, dude. People would have the dumbest avatar. Just see goddamn Santa Claus with a fucking reindeer-ass gun in Fortnite. Like, that's what they'd be fucking doing.
Nobody's a human-sized penis. Unrealistic.
Exactly. Like, that's what you would fucking see.
And I think that explains why they've cut so far down on the actual customization. But no, I agree. It's weird that they're like, I don't understand. Like, I wasn't gonna bring this up until a little bit into the conversation, but yeah, you guys cut to the biggest sticking point. What game developer would make like a randomization for your character design? Fortnite does that, and people hate it, and that's Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a game. That is one game where they either didn't think about it or just didn't have the budget to implement that feature that people want or something. But in this world, it is apparently every game.
Yeah, everything.
Every game.
Because it's not the same game, right? It seems to be like this was a umpteenth game she has tried.
Yeah.
And that gets to the real problem here, which is that this is giving us nothing to glom onto, so all we're left to do is nitpick.
Oh,
That's, yeah.
What did you...
What, did something resonate with you?
Yeah.
I really liked the tutorial segment with the main character. I really like the fact that she she started to get good at this game after like learning the mechanics. I like her relationship with Scar Girl and like how they met each other. I like the fact that she gets this little gun and the first thing she does is call it cute and then dyes it pink. I like the action sequences. I think they're very well done. I liked the idea that there was a special forces unit that was like, hey, we'll try to use this game for practicing. And the moment the actual like special stuff comes into play, they're like, all right, we've gotten as much we can get out of this game as we can. We're out.
Oh, I hated that so much.
I like
so fucking stupid.
No, because here's the thing. If you'll notice that by and large, it is actually great for teaching. It's great for field work in terms of teaching you how to move and how to like, hey, you go around here, you go around there. It's good for formation strategy, and it actually worked really well until they got to the part with the powers.
Until they got to the part where they play the game.
Yeah,
like, did nobody say, hey, let's use this as an exercise? Did nobody stop to think, oh, this lets you have superhuman powers?
All right, I want you to give me a cheaper way where you can teach people how to rappel down a building. A cheaper way to
An
give
indoor training course in real life.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, that is not cheaper. You've come up with something more expensive and less, and like that has less.
Are you telling me that this is going to transfer to real life skill? They just hit a button. Well, they don't even hit a button. They do nothing. They're laying down.
Yeah, but if
Does that build muscle?
No, but
No!
it did.
Like the army has training software that they have made to serve the purpose that they put it to. Like, what's stopping them from programming their own VR game without superpowers that they can use for training, if that's the way they want to go?
I mean, you're not wrong there. I mean, it would make more sense for them to make something without any of the like special abilities.
It's just like the people that are pros at Fortnite and PUBG are Chinese hackers, Twitch streamers that do it full time, and the people that actually are into like the gun nuts. They don't play that. They play Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
that's because it's not actual like full immersive virtual reality. They're point and click. I mean, you're talking about completely different methods of playing the game.
it's still a video game.
I mean, yes, it's still a video game, but look, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually got mostly a kick out of this. I enjoyed it, and a lot of the nitpicks on the periphery, I agree with. Like the biggest one, I hate the randomization. I think that is the dumbest thing, and that's almost a non-starter for me. I'm like, wow, how stupid would you have to be as a software designer to limit the customization? The entire purpose of why people want to do this. I mean, Ready Player One got that right.
Yeah.
People want to either make characters like make new versions of themselves,
Yeah, everyone
or
would
walk
walk around
around
as Sonic.
as Scorpion. Yeah,
yeah, any fucking buddy. Yes, that's what it would be.
like the fact that it's almost impossible to get past that. I'll like put that down. Everything else, none of the nitpicks bothered me as much because I like this main character and I like her development and why she, like of how she gets into the game and starts making friends with other people. Like not to mention, it looks really good. Like
It does look really good.
yeah, it's very visually appealing. So, yeah, I'm not bothered that much by this. There's nothing wholly offensive except for that one sticking point.
I guess it's so hard for me to care about a character when they're in an environment where I can't suspend my disbelief. It's just like I can't even imagine why you're doing this. So it's so hard. It's like you're an alien. What are you doing? It's very hard for me to get into that.
I never had that problem, which is weird considering my previous statements on fantasy and sci-fi.
Like, I don't know. And that's kind of like my thing with fantasy. When it gets like so far removed, it's either I can be in a mood for like crazy surrealist shit where I'm like, okay, we're not dealing with anything. But this is like this world today, 10 years from now, we're going to have this. And I don't know. It didn't do anything compelling for me or stuff that I haven't already seen. I fucking love .hack. Everybody fucking knows this that knows me. Because what it does is it knows how well to portray that the characters have like this offline life and they're balancing it with this game and how they're trying to like meet people. We get inklings of that in this episode, but we get so much more of just bullshit in the game. And I'm like, I don't really care about it and they don't pull it off well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked last 2 seasons ago now in MMO Junkie about that line about being alone without having to feel lonely, like how much that spoke to you.
Yeah.
Like, because it's clearly coming from somebody who knows. This doesn't feel like it's coming from somebody who knows. It doesn't have that ring of authenticity.
I think you're right. I think that's what's hitting me the most.
Maybe I've played way too much PUBG lately, so like you have
I also haven't played any PUBG or Fortnite, so maybe this has authenticity that I'm not seeing because I don't have that experience. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually have played like 80 hours worth of PUBG in the last couple of months. I got way into that game with a couple of friends, and I'm seeing a lot of that here. I'm seeing a lot of like
totally. Absolutely. Like I see it there. But the things they're trying to do, and here's it. The way they're trying to tie it into real life is that's where it like I can't do it. I mean, saying that these guys are using it for like training and shit, I can't buy that. And like how she has this whole complex about being too tall and so she wants to be super short. I'm just like, that you seem like an alien. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, I get it. It's hard for me to see the perspective of somebody who feels like they're too tall or weird in their own. Okay, I can definitely identify with not being comfortable in your own skin, wholeheartedly. So for her to want to have this cute little character is kind of interesting. The amount of effort she puts into it is a little bit weird, yeah. But I just love the idea that she was looking for something very specifically and then fell into something else that she ends up really enjoying, something that she ends up getting actually kind of good at.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to watch that development for me. I like to see that. And again, it looks really good while it's happening, so it's not like it's being poorly shown to you.
It might be a cultural divide thing too. I don't know if height is like more of an issue for Japanese people, but like this woman is
that might be it.
She's 6 feet tall, whatever. She's also gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so I cannot, in a visceral sense, I have a hard time imagining that actually being a problem, because you put that person into any situation that I've ever been in real life, and she'd have a ring of guys trying to get into her pants.
How tall is she?
I think she's supposed to be 6 feet.
Looked like that.
They didn't say 6 feet, and she's taller than a lot of the men.
Yeah, and you know how tall they are? I'm taller than all of them. I'm 6 feet. They
Yeah.
come up to here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. 6 feet in Japan is the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 6 feet in America is kind of tall for a woman, but not like.
Just to be fair, I didn't meet a single woman in Japan who was my height. Not a one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think I might be like nitpicking shit too much. I think it was hard. It's hard to get past a lot of that. And I don't know. I felt a lot of the characters were just nothing really felt, like you said to me, authentic. I like seeing that she's enjoying herself and seeing her come into like figuring this thing out and becoming this player killer that people talk about and go, have you heard of like this pink demon? It's kind of fun. Yeah. I dig on that. But there's a lot of fat. And that's where I was kind of falling off.
Well, I'm just gonna hold this up. I guess I'm probably the only one who's gonna hold this up, but I liked it, man. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a trash fire. It's got some stuff going for it. I could see it, like, if it gives me something engaging enough to look past the nitpicks, then hey, great. But as of these 2 episodes, it's kind of not. Sorry.
I don't know what else to say I haven't already said. I hope they introduce something more compelling. I think seeing the whole episode long flashback was good. Episode 3 will be like the breaking point for sure. I want to see what they're going to set up to do, and if anybody is like if we get anyone else involved, because right now just Len and the other dude, I'm not feeling their chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, that is part of the problem too, is that these 2 episodes are just table setting.
Yeah.
It has the potential to go some cool places, but it has not introduced anything like an arc plot, which is presumably going to be here. So I don't know. We'll see.
I had a quick question. I've only seen the first episode. Is there a time skip after that?
No, it's a flashback.
Yeah, it's a whole
No,
episode
the first episode's a flashback?
The
No.
first episode is present, and then the next episode is like X months earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
the second
And you were
episode.
saying that she's like a legendary player or something?
Yes.
Even though in the whole first episode, she's like not knowing how to play at all?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, she's been. This game is apparently not just PUBG. It's apparently an MMO with like a PUBG mode.
That they're going to add. They show, and like it hasn't been added yet in the flashback.
Yeah, watch the second episode. It will explain everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a newbie in this battle royale mode, but she knows the MMO version of the game. She knows the mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, next show on the list, we've got Hinamatsuri. This is another one that I gave the episode 1 synopsis last week, so I won't go over the whole thing. TLDR version. Small girl has telekinetic powers, hangs out with a Yakuza man. In episode 2, so this is kind of a two-parter, tells 2 little stories. I don't think it was like, it didn't like give a little mid-episode title card or anything, but it's basically 2 stories. In part 1, another superpowered girl, Anzu, falls out of the sky to track Hina down and eliminate her. Nita convinces them to have a rock-paper-scissors duel instead of a fight. Hina wins, but asks Anzu to stay and hang out for a while before leaving. They do, and Anzu's metal cocoon gets thrown in the wash and won't bring her home. In part 2, Nita starts dating again, making Hina feel lonely. She tracks Nita down at his favorite bar to tell him that she wants to go out clubbing with him. So they do. I felt like I was more on this show's wavelength this time. I still didn't like laugh out loud a lot, with some exceptions. When like at the end of the episode, when their solution to the problem of, hey, when you go out hanging out with what are basically prostitutes all night, it makes me sad that their solution to that is, come clubbing with me, do a champagne tower, we're getting tore up. That was fun. Seeing her little schoolgirl friend getting roped into being a
Being a
bartender.
bartender.
That was hilarious.
I love Tiramisu. This is the funniest show. Like I maybe because I was watching this with other people there, but hot damn, I was laughing like at least once a minute. This show is so fun. I was so scared they were gonna do some real dumb angle, like, oh, and he's gonna have a crush on the girl or something. But no, the Yakuza guy never blushes, no nothing. He's just real stern, like, stop with your bullshit. He's being the dad figure, and she's just so like an actual alien trying to adapt into everything. And the way he talks to her and how she just instantly comes back, the timing on this show is so good. Like when they're doing the duel and he's like, Ikra for dinner, you scared? Like instantly she knows how to do and rolls with it. I love it.
This is the weirdest show we've ever watched.
I think I've watched weirder.
No, I mean for this show.
I'm comparing it to Pop Team Epic. That might be weird.
Okay,
This at least has a structure and a story.
But that's what makes it weirder to me, because you got Pop Team Epic over there, which is basically just adults, it's comedy for the sake of comedy, little skits, whatever. They're supposed to be weird. This is based in real life, based in the modern world, with real characters, with a storyline, and it is bizarre.
Yep.
Because everything just keeps it's this weird kind of almost dream logic of how things just move forward.
I wrote down in my notes, this show operates on Looney Tunes logic. And as soon as I wrapped my head around that, everything started to make more sense.
Totally.
This isn't suddenly going to turn into an action show. That's not where they're going with it. This is Looney Tunes.
She ends up being a bartender at the bar because people keep coming in, and so she just starts making drinks.
Yeah, that's like a duck season, wabbit season level of insanity. Or like when he's going out and trying to get away from her, and she's always at that next place
when she's in
ahead
the
of
train and then he just stands there and it goes by, I would die.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny, man. Like this show is so good.
And the stupid wind faces during the duel.
Yes, the faces.
The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, you know what? This show's pretty all right.
No, this is way up there for me. Sorry, I'm tipping my hand. God forbid, but like,
Fuck
man,
tipping your hand. Hold up your cards.
If you aren't watching this yet and have a Crunchyroll sub, just give it a shot. It's so fun.
It's so weird, and I love that.
And it's
the opening any shot when Hina's in that, she's got the Ikura bowl.
Yeah.
And every shot.
No, and it's like, it has like some, it has some moments where I actually started caring because Yakuza guys like, no girls want to hang out with me because I think I have a daughter. Fuck it, eat like canned mackerel. I'm going out. And then, it keeps doing that, and eventually you just get more scenes of her just going, oh, he's out again. Just like, oh.
Yeah, no, the fact that she's like, I'm lonely and I'm not, like, I'm unsatisfied. Please take me with you. And I'm like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
It's like, and she's a daughter to him. That's
Totally.
the idea. And I'm happy. Yeah. I am so happy that the first thing that every adult every person who meets her is like, what do I want to feel? Why do I feel like a caregiver? And it's not oh gosh, this cute little girl appeared in my house. No, it's like, this girl who I want to make my daughter appeared in my house. What is happening?
I feel like this is for our age group.
It might be.
Like, because this is not, there's no, like, high school bullshit. This is all just adults dealing with adult life, but now we have these alien children that showed up.
I was going to say, like, the Yakuza guy, he is the protagonist of, like, every 80s sitcom.
Yeah.
He is BoJack Horseman and horsing around. Mm-hmm. Like, I have this cool swinging bachelor lifestyle. Oh, no, now I got to settle down and be responsible.
Yeah.
Only in this world, being responsible sometimes means, hey, kid, use your telekinesis to pour me a
wine tower.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. It's a magic trick. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And everyone's all drunk off their ass. Like, yo, what?
That's an amazing trick.
Like, seriously, I can't overstate how funny this is. And the art and the animation in particular. This is actually directed by a key animator who worked on Armitage the Third and Honey and Clover, all this big shit. So this guy knows what he's doing, and the expressions are so good.
Yeah, and the timing is remarkable. That joke you were making to me about, and now I have become a woman. I thought that joke was like, that sounded funny. I see it, and I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah, it's not because the joke itself on paper is hilarious. It is 100% in the timing, in the expressions.
Yeah, and again, during that scene where Hina doesn't want to fight, doesn't want to fight in that manner, and so Yakuza dude has to like goad her into doing it or bribe her into doing it, and those responses.
Yeah, this feels like American comedy show timing, like not like Japanese show timing, and it's different. It is.
And oh my god, I'm so curious about our homeless girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The fact that she's homeless by the end of that bit, I laughed.
I know.
Out loud.
I love that she just steals the biker gang jacket, and I can only assume now she's gonna be romping with the biker gang later. I don't know.
They're dropping mad Terminator references.
Oh, I love it.
yeah,
Yeah, instantly. And
Yeah.
I'm actually getting some Fooly Cooly vibes here and there. I like seeing the aliens just kind of coming in, that there's some galactic thing going on, but we're all kind of goofing around. And I'm like, we'll probably see some more like important stuff later.
Yeah, they're dropping little hints like on Anzu. She says, "Yeah, I'm here on orders from the top brass."
Yeah.
And in a different show, I would be nitpicking so hard. Like, what kind of top brass sends out a little girl on her own with no handler, no oversight? But in this show, it makes sense because, of course, they would. Everybody's an idiot. That's the point.
Yep. It's so good. It's exactly what I was hoping for when I saw the trailer. I remember your response to it being kind of lukewarm, and I was like, no, it can't be. I want to see it for myself. And I'm glad by episode 2 we're more on the same wavelength, because this is the kind of shit that I've been waiting for. Like the last couple of seasons, I needed an adult comedy that was weird and quirky and well animated, and this is everything.
Well, I mean, it's why both you and Tyler made this show your locks, just in case my lukewarm opinion of it unduly influenced the audience. As it turns out, our audience is pretty cool. They know, I'm going to watch this and form my own opinion.
I'm very happy with the audience picks this time
Me
around.
too. I was worried.
Yeah, if I'd be completely honest with you, like, way to go, guys. I think
you
your
guys did
picks
good.
were fantastic.
With exactly one exception.
Megalobox?
No.
Megalobox. Yep, Megalobox is real bad.
I know that was a joke, but I'm going to treat it as though it were serious because I'm offended, sir.
We'll get there.
We will.
I had a question real quick, though.
Sure. What's up?
When I was first looking up the anime, I looked up Hinamatsuri, and it's like an event in Japan or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because Matsuri means festival.
Yeah.
I didn't do any research into that. What is Hinamatsuri? Okay, cool.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
But they did show the beginning of the show starts with a thing that takes place apparently 3 years in the future.
What?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
they're like because it's Hina is fighting these dudes in this amazing choreographed sequence.
Oh, that's
and then
her?
it goes 3 years before.
Was that Hina fighting them?
Yeah, they said Hina, watch out.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was a really cool segment.
Yeah, that was the first thing you see of like, holy crap, okay, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, by the way, the animation for that scene is
it's amazing.
I love that she's fighting him with like a shoe.
Yeah, it's unnecessarily good looking, and I love unnecessarily good looking shit for no reason. Like that like when the in between suddenly skyrocket and just for character acting. But this was an action sequence, and I still have no idea why. So
Yep. Apropos of nothing, but it was a dope scene. I hope we get more scenes like it. We don't need them, but I hope we get them.
Also, let's point out the fact that every time someone gets hit, they yell out, "Baita!"
They yell, ouchie.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's real good. That really helps sell the violence as cartoonish and not to be taken too seriously.
Yeah, because he shows up with a gun ready to murder this other dude who shot their boss. And she's like, oh, no, I'll take care of it. It's like, oh, my God. She's going to go Tetsuo. She's going to blow him up. Okay, good.
Yeah. Ouchie, ouchie.
I looked it up real quick. Hinamatsuri is Dolls Day.
Doll's Day.
Oh.
Like
that
red like staircase thing that you'd see at shrines with the dolls.
Yeah, because they're all robots.
No.
They're all robots.
March 3rd.
What, Japanese people? Yeah.
Yeah, ever since 1968.
Guys, let's talk about A Legend of the Galactic Heroes, some German that I'm not going to try to pronounce.
I thought it was
Latin.
I was violently corrected. It is
Oh,
German.
It's German?
It is German.
That makes sense.
Which does make sense. It starts with
it
D,
does.
D-I-E, which is the something. I was born in Germany. I should know more German. That was back before the Berlin Wall fell. Look it up, kids. Episode 1. We get a voiceover exposition dump about the galaxy's 3 factions, the Empire of the Space Germans, the Alliance of the Chinese Space Greeks, and the neutral faction not appearing in this episode. Reinhard, the Grand High Excellent Admiral of the Space Germans, is outnumbered by 3 enemy fleets, and his admirals tell him to retreat, but he believes he can defeat the 3 fleets one by one. He's right, and they defeat 2 of the 3 fleets handily. Just as his forces engage the 3rd fleet, he says, "What? No!" And the episode ends in a cliffhanger. And then in episode 2, that same battle is shown again from the perspective of Commodore Yang, a mid-level Alliance officer. He takes command of the final of the 3 Alliance fleets when all his superior officers are killed and forces the battle into a stalemate. The Empire retreats and Reinhard sends a letter to Yang expressing respect for his tactical prowess.
You got the names right, so I think I get a hint of what you feel.
Actually, I've been getting a lot more of the names right this season because I have noticed I love making up goofy nicknames, but on occasion, it can actually make things harder to keep track of when I've got my dumb nickname and then we start using the real names. So unless it's a name that I know I'm just never going to keep track of, I'm making an effort to use the real names more often.
Okay.
And in this series especially, it throws a lot of characters at you.
Yeah.
Most of them are not important so far.
Yeah.
And it does that thing where it'll show the establishing shot of the character and then show for about 0.05 seconds, this is their rank and title and name, and fuck you, give every character a simple label for me to glom onto. I cannot keep track of this shit. Show. It does a bad job of introducing shit. It does a bad job of exposition. I'm going to throw that out there.
I think it's because they don't matter.
I hope so, but if it doesn't matter, then don't pretend that it does. Don't give me this little subtitle as though it matters.
I'm going to agree with him. I think you're both right. I think they're doing a really bad job at it. I think it doesn't matter. And I think that if it doesn't matter, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because the characters who do matter are Reinhard, Yang, and Reinhard's friend who...
Kirchheis and
Yes, Kirchheis.
his red-haired friend, and then Yang's buddy with the devil's luck,
Yeah.
Lao, I think is going to be the other.
Oh
important
yeah,
dude.
Lao seems probably.
I was ready
important.
for him to die. I was like, okay, you planted that, you're gonna fucking die.
no,
Okay.
The moment he's like, and you've helped me live again, and the moment that it goes back to Yang, and I'm like, I look forward to mourning your death in 6 episodes.
Yep.
No, I kind of don't know how to feel about the show, to be honest, because I like the concept. I think it looks good. I think it's got a crazy score.
I know. That's what I said last time. The music's so good.
It keeps waffling between Final Fantasy and Star Wars. Like legitimately, like sometimes it's like, oh wow, this is Star Wars. Oh, now we're Final Fantasy again, and it's cool like that. I kind of dig on here during this big action scene, we have this understated piano playing through the entire bit.
Yeah.
Then
Just
during
make things
this,
a little tense.
Then during part of the when we have this part of reflection and this bit of unease, there's just this small violin in the background. I don't know. It's neat. It's a bit dry. Bit dry.
Yeah, the characters haven't done much to endear them to me yet. I am hoping that changes. These 2 episodes are also one big battle scene. So it very well could change. But as of right now, everyone's real military.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm wondering how the original story began. I would not be surprised if we got something very similar to this.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of feeling like we're not getting a lot of what's at stake. I think we're getting ideas of it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, cool, big old space battle. That's kind of neat. I like the moment they were going through, I'm like, I think I know what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment they're like, yep, they just came around them and started shooting from the back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, wow, that is pretty neat. I also love Yang's relationship with his superior officer.
Mm-hmm.
he's like, look, I'm telling you this is what you can do. I'm telling you this is what you can do. And then at the end, he's like, do you have a plan that's not passive? And Yang just flat out tells him to his face, like, sir, every single plan I've given you has not been passive. And I'm like, I love that bit. I actually, like, fuck Reinhardt and Kierheis. I think they're interesting to a certain extent.
Yeah.
No, Yang is actually
totally,
way
yeah.
more interesting to me because he's got these really cool... The fact that he, like, while he was talking, like, look, I'm just going to type this in and give orders to other people.
That was cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I
the
like
fact that it's like, they've jammed us and, like, it doesn't matter. As long as we can tell them, start this code, they know what to do now. And I'm like, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
I wish they had done a better job of explaining the mechanics of all that. So,
Yeah.
like, they're constantly talking about the enemy's jammed our communications. Send them these orders. How? If it's jammed. The best I could figure out was they jammed their like private encrypted comm channels, but they can still send open messages that anybody can hear.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's
But-
why you can hear...
Because then Reinhardt heard what Yang gave out, and he was like,
Yeah, but the fact that I had to like sit and ponder over that, I think they could have established that more cleanly.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's at risk of making it even more dry, though. Like, because what this show does, though, is it loves going into, like, the battle tactics of shit. And as someone that loves macro RTSs, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just like, look at this cool fucking space shit and all these formations and what we're going to do. And it feels like it's not as... It's hard to relate closer to like the Light and L dynamic, but that's what they set up between these two.
Very much.
Is they're going to be doing these mind games between each other, trying to outthink and one up and think 3 steps ahead, but he's 5 steps ahead type shit. And they're already setting up for stuff like that.
I love... So when it comes to interstellar battles like this, you know, of these fleets versus fleets in space, I love the fact that, you know, they start firing and it takes seconds. Like seconds for everything to start hitting because that's how it would work. You know, getting within range like that is so difficult, and just watching these play out was really cool. I'm not that much into like this hard level sci-fi of like, yep, these are like hundreds of years in the future when everything's taking like, you know, we've got all this jargon, all these high level concepts of you know, military battle strategy. But I did enjoy this. Like, I will say, by and large, I am curious about the next couple of episodes. That being said, I'm not sure this is for my speed. It might be really good for the people who love this sort of thing, like you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stick around for very long.
Yeah, I think it largely depends on whether and how well they're able to mix a human story into this with characters that I care about.
Yeah.
There's nothing here that says that they're incapable of that. They just haven't done it yet. And I
No.
very much hope they do, because this stuff is fun for a while, but yeah, it can get boring if they don't do something else more interesting.
This is the really dense first 2 chapters of any Tom Clancy book. That's what we just got. Of let's go over how cool the technology is. Let's get all fucking technogasm over. Look at all these cool gadgets and drones and things healing up the glass and you know, all this crazy battle tactics. And then I'm hoping now that we've retreated, everyone's going to go back to where they, you know, their home bases. We'll get more of like, we'll probably be flip-flopping back and forth between here's Reinhardt's like daily life, here's Yang's daily life, and we'll just see what happens when they're not fighting.
Yeah. I will also say that when the focus is on these tactical geniuses, or any kind of geniuses really, it can be a challenge to make it accessible and understandable to the audience without making it so simple that it seems like, well, why do you have to be a genius to figure that out, though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this was kind of more that second, where the idea is the side that wins is the side that shoots first and has the greater numbers. Why is Reinhardt the only person who can figure this out? If, like, it seems kind of self-evident. Seems like the Alliance are kind of idiots for splitting their forces. Why weren't they all in one big unstoppable fleet to begin with?
And I think that was what they were saying with like, because that was his commander's like idea to do this shit. And he was like, can we just fucking group up? Can we just do this
Yeah.
thing? And he was like, no, we can't. So like that's kind of why I got. It was like, yeah, they are idiots. Now Yang's here. Let's fix shit.
Yeah, and that side of it worked. But then on the other side, it kind of does the same thing where all of Reinhardt's admirals are like, no, we can't win this one. We should just peace out. And Reinhardt's like, no, we're going to murderfy them. And it's kind of like, wow. So both of the top brass on both of these sides are idiots in the exact same way. It seems like kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
The other problem that I had is that I wish it had done a better job of showing the big picture of these battles.
Yeah, we get like these hologram projections, which I think actually did a really good job at just giving you like the idea of here's where everything is. The red's the bad guys, blues are good guys, and they're doing these like formations. But like yeah, most of the ship shots you just see you're inside of like thousands of ships. You never see like zoomed out a lot of what they're doing.
Yeah, most of the battle was just like, hey, here's 10 or 20 ships firing. Here's 10 or 20 ships getting blown up. Like, I never got a sense of how everything, except like you say, during the holograms, which I felt like they did a better job in the second episode. They had the holograms of the big ship.
Yeah, the big spinny thing.
Yeah.
I think they needed that to show what they were doing.
Very much so. And then they cut from that to, okay, here's the actual ships. And
It looked
that
really
was
fucking cool. Yeah, I love that.
Actually, one of my favorite shots out of both the episodes is that first firing shot where you see all of the ships firing and then you just see the blast going off in the distance in that formation. That was cool as hell. I was like, ooh, I love that kind of particle effect that they do. I don't know, it's just really cool. They've got some cool visual stuff.
Another one I liked because I don't want this to be understated. Looks beautiful because they can use CG for all the ships. The humans look really fucking good. But like there's the shot where they're like where the rebels are on the deck and they get up to like they're like going over all the ships and you just see like in the background them slowly rising over everybody. You've seen it in Star Wars. It just looks really cool.
Well, guys, I've had some nits to pick, but I'm still enjoying this. I hope it goes some cool places. I'm interested in seeing what those places are.
I'm going to give this a couple episodes. Definitely not a bad first two, but as I said before, I'm not sure this is my speed. We'll see, but I like it. It's cool. I definitely, when it hits for me, I'm like rooting for it. Just hope it keeps me.
I think opening with this battle was a good and bad choice because you get you get a bigger idea of what they're trying to set up for this rivalry between these two. But what you lose is like what Ben said, a lot of the human elements that kind of help keep a story engaging. That said, for a mech nut like me who loves this kind of shit, it's really fun. The explosions look great. Ships look awesome. The sound design is superb. And for a remake, I haven't seen the original, but I hope to see and hear that this is pretty faithful because what we have right now I think looks amazing.
Well, don't worry, Kieran. If you ever want to watch the original, it's only $800 to own the entire DVD box set.
Wow.
Yep. Or $5 a month on High Dive, and you can watch it on your phone.
Yep.
Great. No High Dive on the list this season. Thank God. High Dive, get your Roku shit together, please. Let's talk about, speaking of war stories, Golden Kamuy. In episode 1, Sugimoto and Ainu Girl team up to find a cache of gold stolen from the Ainu people by the legendary criminal Curly. Sugi wants it so that he can take care of his war buddy's widow and child. Ainu Girl just wants the gold found because then Curly will be of no more use to the government and they will execute him for his crimes, thus avenging her father, who Curly killed. Sugi and Ainu Girl fight a bear. And then in episode 2, Sugimoto and Ainu Girl travel to Otaru to search for more tattooed prisoners, all of whom have part of a map in code tattooed up on them. They find and trap one just outside of town. While interrogating him, he's suddenly shot by Private Puppet Face of the Japanese Army's 7th Division. Sugimoto fights Private Puppet Face off, and Puppet Face falls into a river, but we later find out he survived. Sugi and Ainu Girl trap a second prisoner who turns out to be an escape artist called the Escape King. While chasing him, he and Sugi fall into the river and must team up to build a fire before they both die of hypothermia. This show's a real mixed bag, like in almost every aspect. The visuals can be real pretty when they want to. They can be fugly as shit when they want to. The storytelling and the characters are kind of here or there. Like, I would have a hard time pointing at any one thing that's like, this is egregiously bad. I would have a hard time pointing at anything and say, this is great and this is the reason why you should be watching this.
I can say one thing that's egregiously bad. I
Sure.
can say two things that are egregiously bad.
Fires and bears?
Fires and bears.
Yeah.
Oh, three things actually. Now that I think about it, this is a much better manga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what? You remember that scene where he eats the squirrel brains? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in the anime, he's just like, in the manga, the look on his face is priceless. It is hilarious. I read through the first couple chapters of the manga. Oh my God, does this anime drop the ball on the expressions, on the composition, on everything? Like, it doesn't look nearly as good as its manga counterpart, and it does nothing to improve. Like, remember what we said about Junji Ito about using your medium to improve? Yeah, that CG bear was sure terrible. That CG fire sure is terrible, and none of these action scenes are really all that, interesting to begin with. So, yeah, I wanted this to be good because I heard a lot of really good things about the manga. Like, apparently this is a really popular story among the people who have read it. Like, they really like it. It is translating poor here. Apparently the second episode was racked with production issues. It's apparently got a ton of animators on it because it was rushed. It's got me really, pessimistic about this, if I had to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that is engaging me is the setting. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
The historical context and just what the hell was Japan like in the 1900s up in Hokkaido? I don't fucking know, but I'm curious to find out.
I love seeing the stuff with the Ainu. Like, you never hear about that here. And, seeing them, prepare the dish together. That was really cool.
You never hear about that shit in Japan.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the Ainu because kind of like the Aboriginals of Australia, they got fucked.
Yeah.
It's to a certain extent, you kind of feel this kinship with the Native Americans in the Ainu because it's like, oh, hey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with the spiritualism. It's like, oh, yeah, no, as an American who grew up with, all kinds of media about the Native Americans watching the Ainu here, I'm like, yeah, I get that. And she's cool. I love her. She's the best. I love when she comes in like, hey, I said if you kill him, I'm not working with you. And Sugimoto's like, you're gonna have to play along, okay? Look. And yeah, I'm really happy that they instantly realized, no, we can just write them down. We don't have to skin these dudes. That's dumb. Thank God, because for a moment there, I thought Sugimoto was like, yeah, we gotta hunt them all down. And I'm like, oh, okay. No, they start sketching them. She's a good little sketch artist. She's very, very, I love the scene with the pencil. Very good stuff there.
Yeah.
And I also love that scene after they fall into the water.
Him with the Escape King was awesome.
Yeah.
That whole bit was fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. That was the highlight. It was tense, but also funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed that. One thing that was kind of weird. So they had the prisoner, and they were interrogating him, and she was sketching his tattoos.
Yeah.
And then puppet face guy just snipes him, blows his brains out, blood spatters, covering the sketch that she was making. I'm like, oh shit. Now they're going to have to go back. What happened to that dude?
They're going to have to go skin him or do a new sketch
I
or
guess.
nothing. we
I'm
just got nothing
guessing.
on it right now, but Pete still has to get back up the cliff. I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of sidetracked that.
Did he just get left behind there, tied up to die of exposure? What
Maybe
happened?
next episode she'll have carried him. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll
But
figure
yeah.
it out. We'll find out.
That jumped out to me too as soon as I saw it. I was like, what the fuck? They didn't say anything. Is she okay? Because she wiped the blood off?
Yeah,
Is
was the
blood
sketch
gonna
okay?
Is the blood going to wash away pencil? I've never tried.
Let me show you.
I guess we'll see. Storytelling here was kind of weird and all over the place. And Like, again, some scenes are really good. Also, I am a sucker for this time period.
Totally,
Like,
yeah. That's definitely what's keeping me interested the most. I'm saying, oh, the doctors in America are so good, but to get there and to get the surgery is 200 yen. I love that.
Also, I just love, like, okay, so I really, really like Rurouni Kenshin. And I'm getting a lot of vibes here. And I like the fact that,
yeah.
like, yeah, by the way, he's actually a samurai. Like,
Yeah.
he's left over. And I'm like, yeah, no, that would be the period where the samurai were, like, flat out.
Did they mention the Shinsengumi?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
the
I was like.
samurai guy was like a
he was-
captain in the
Yeah,
Shinsengumi.
totally.
Yeah. All these uniforms are so cool because you can tell where the Japanese development meant the American colonialism. So, like, oh, yeah, look at all this, like, look at all these really cool time period appropriate clothing. And again, and I'm so sad that we didn't get a lot of emphasis on this. They started it during the Russo-Japanese War. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
that's how the opening bit is like 2 or 3 minutes of the Russo-Japanese War, and he has war flashbacks. It's really compelling. I kind of like the dynamic he has.
Yeah, I loved reading Jack London as a kid, White Fang, Call of the Wild, and this is giving me mad vibes, like that frontier,
Yeah.
super harsh environment. Like, I love that shit. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what's keeping me going forward. But if you couldn't tell, I do want to go forward. There are areas for improvement, I hope. There are areas that probably won't improve, like the production values. I'm willing to stick with it. Those problems are there, but if the storytelling can pull it together, then I'll be fine with the occasional bad CGI bear or fire.
I am still going to watch because I like the story that's being told. I like our two main characters. I like some of our side characters. Mr. Escape Artist was really funny, and apparently he's coming back. If you look at the ending, he's being attacked by a tanuki. I'm looking forward to that. We've got a colorful cast of antagonists, which again give me some sincere Rurouni Kenshin vibes. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
The setting's really cool. I really like this war-torn vet and this Ainu girl trying to find this gold, and just the way it's done, that they're prisoners and they have it tattooed on them. That alone is like really compelling. That's a great hook. There's a few production issues. They didn't bother me nearly as much. And while it might not be doing like adapting as well to the manga, I do like seeing the things animated. I like seeing the color given to the settings because I thought the backgrounds actually looked pretty good here. And I don't know, I had a really, really good time.
I liked them when they weren't just obviously photographs with filters over them.
Yeah,
There's some shots like
Yeah.
that. Then again, anime, it happens.
comic girls. Just that whole art store sequence was just photographs.
Oh my god, like after the rain, there were some shots in there where I'm like, oh, those are just photographs.
Well, speaking of shows that have filters over them, as I understand it, I don't know
Oh, yeah.
from animation. But we got Megalobox. This is another one that I gave the first episode synopsis of last time. Short version, Junk Dog does underground boxings. He throws fights. He doesn't want to throw fights no more because he's got his pride. He's going to fight Yuri, who's the champ.
Yuri, big Russian boxer.
In episode 2, Yuri, having come to the underground boxing ring to answer Junk Dog's challenge, he defeats Junk Dog in 1 round. Junk Dog wants a rematch, but Yuri says he'll have to fight his way up to Yuri's level and face him in an officially sanctioned match. In his next underground fight, Junk Dog is supposed to take a dive in the 5th round, but KOs the other guy with 1 punch instead. Junk Dog's manager, Pops' boss, Fujimaki, isn't happy about it and demands Pop's eye as payment, but Pops convinces him that if Junk Dog wins the upcoming tournament Megalonia, they'll be able to pay him back with interest. Fujimaki has a magic hacker magically hack Junk Dog up a citizen's ID so he can enter the official matches. And as the episode ends, he chooses his fake ID name, Joe. Just Joe-ass Joe.
So I was really curious. I'm like, okay, where's the I said no Joe part come
Yeah.
in? I get that this is supposed to be like boxing, and
Yeah.
it's basically the Sylvester, like it's basically what do you call it?
Rocky?
Rocky. But now we're here in Megalobox. It's almost nothing similar, and then boom, Joe, and I'm like, Okay, good. I like that. I like that. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know Ashita no Joe. I have no connection to it, no nostalgia for it. I'm sure it's a good thing. This makes me interested to check it out because I really like this. It is beautiful. It is stylish. The music is great. The boxing sequences are amazing.
The music
This soundtrack is giving Devilman a run for its money for my favorite this year.
I cannot believe how good the soundtrack is. Like every other scene, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm
a sucker for these hip hop beats.
The scene where he's driving on the motorcycle and sees that giant ass billboard where he sees like the district, the place for the average Joe or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that, oh God, it's synthwave shit they're doing. It's great.
Yeah, this fucking synthwave rap stuff. I'm like, God
awesome.
damn it, I need this soundtrack immediately. And God, it's all I can think is like, yep, give me a dub of this, put it on Adult Swim immediately.
Totally. This belongs on Adult Swim.
This is such an Adult Swim show. It's remarkable.
Yep. And I didn't want to turn the plot synopsis into a blow-by-blow, literally recap of the boxing match, but I made it sound like it was over and done with. It is not. And
Yeah.
it is engaging. It is fun. It is, like, it does a great job of getting into Joe, I suppose we can call him now, into Junk Dog's head. And I like seeing that he's a little full of himself. He's not nearly as good as he thinks he is. Yeah, he is too good to be fighting in these underground boxing matches, but in the pro circuit, he's probably maybe like middle of the pack. He has no business fighting the champ right now.
Yep. I do like that he does spook the champ, but after that, it's like, oh, okay, I can't actually play with you.
I like that
I'm
Yuri's
still
just.
gonna wreck you, but
I like that Yuri is just Frieza.
kind of. I
With
mean,
his with his purple and white going on and his I only need one hand.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I want to point out one thing about the show that I absolutely adored, and it's in the second episode where Yuri's owner comes out, and he's standing out there. The dog's like he lets the dog out. The dog starts running around. He's just getting some fresh air. Suddenly, the owner comes by, and the dog stops, and you'll see this. You see the silhouettes of the owner and and Yuri, and then the dog off in the yard. And they start talking, and she's like, "You do not fight an unsanctioned unsanctioned matches. You only fight when I tell you to." And immediately he backs down and says, "Yes, ma'am." And the dog sits.
I didn't notice that. That's cool.
Yeah. And I loved that. Like, it's such a small, it's a simple, obvious thing, but a great use of visual metaphor, which makes me think, yeah, maybe the guys who are making this actually know how to use their medium, because there are just so many times where, like, you get these very straightforward stories with sports stories about, oh, I'm going to overcome my limits and I'm going to beat this big bad. No, here we see a man who's a very good boxer who probably loves his job, and he's subservient to this woman, which is interesting because the first time we meet her, like, properly off the TV, she's, it's after Joe's crashed his motorcycle. She goes up and like, "Here, listen, we'll pay for it." And Joe's like, "Fuck you, lady." And she's like, "Well then, if that's the case," and then walks away. And I think she's going to be a bit more of a bitch than we realize. And I'm kind of eager to see, I think we'll see a bit of Yuri coming out and being like, "No, fuck you, I'm doing this."
Yeah, I'm real curious to see what her big, presumably evil plan is, because there are hints of something larger than just boxing going on. She says to Yuri, "Your body is the future of our company."
Yeah. No, they're making like cybernetic shit. They're not just using it for boxing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. With Joe, he's got the things that attach to him. Are those attached to Yuri, or are those his arms now?
No, I think you see it. I think you see them off.
Do we see them off? Because I think we might see them off in that one scene that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think you see them off there because everyone's glamming on it like, oh, it's like a second skin.
Right.
As in he still has it.
Well, yeah, okay. Because, like, he takes that shirt off, and I'm like, oh, shit,
Yeah.
it's Jax.
Yeah, no, he totally looks like Jax.
No, I think that's his real arms now, because every other shot he's wearing a sweater.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah,
That
that's
is true.
That's the reason that I was thinking to myself, like those.
I couldn't remember if his sweater was off in that shot at the house.
I'm pretty sure they made a big deal at one point of like these are cyborg implants. Like they use the word cyborg, which I
okay.
don't believe they use in reference to the external frame that Junk Dog wears.
But how's he going to type with boxing gloves on?
You know what? Those golden gloves. They had to have something to nerf them. Takes a round of lace. Billy Punchy Face.
Also, yeah, you were talking about filters. One of the things about this show, which by the way is fucking beautiful, so is gorgeous. Oh my god.
Yep.
They actually downscaled it, and then they basically downscaled it and then blew it up. It's kind of interesting. Hold on, Tyler. Do you know exactly what they did?
No, yeah, that's like a layer he has over his arms. I
Oh,
just
it
checked
is?
it. Yeah, he's
Okay.
got fleshy fucking hands.
Normie
So,
hands?
Yeah.
All right.
Also, yeah, up 4K and then downscaled and then rescaled.
That's interesting.
Huh.
Because, yeah, the feeling that I got almost immediately was that I was watching something, like, again, off of Cartoon Network. I feel like, oh, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like this was something I was watching back when I had a normal-ass TV,
Yeah.
and I was watching, say, like, Cowboy Bebop, and I'm like, I love it. And I know that is... There's something to be said about making something look worse to make it look better and how cheap that is, and that's not pushing your medium. And I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
I disagree entirely. I think if that's the point, that is using the medium. It got the effect, and it goes so well with the line art because it's all so sketchy. And when they like actually get the blows going, just they mess everything up. Love it.
Also, a limited use of CG in this show.
Yeah.
Like, it's there in a couple of shots, but by and large, they don't overdo it. And I like that. I like the fact that a lot of this feels organic.
Where's the CG? Because I've heard that it's in there. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Nor I.
They use it on some of the building shots, like as people are moving or things are being, like, it's a lot of background dressing. It's not a whole lot of the forefront. And I think they use it for a couple of cars.
Yeah. And I'm just resigned that every car is going to be CG traced over.
Except
now.
Lupin.
Yeah, except Lupin. Lupin's
Yep.
good.
And I love that. I love that in Lupin. Like, most of those cars, a couple of them are CG, but like Lupin's main car, nah, that's cell animated, baby.
Yep.
Cell animated.
But yeah, Fujimaki, good presence. Like I think they did a good job of making him feel legitimately threatening. I enjoyed that.
Dude, that scene is like, oh, that's why this is a big deal. Shit.
You just hear the guy screaming in the freezer, and you're like, oh, that's what he does.
Good Chekhov's gun too.
Yeah.
That's where Junk Dog Citizen's ID comes from. Oh, that dead guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that was a great setup. I was like, oh, hey, cool. So they used that. They used every part of the buffalo here.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, he has a magic hacker magically hack up. No, he can't just do that at any time.
Yeah, there has to be someone who they scrub clean.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he's gone and turned into soup.
Yeah, let's just assume like he owed money to them because he bought child prostitutes and now he couldn't afford it. Let's just assume he was the worst possible person and now
And not just a regular guy who maybe just borrowed a little too much.
Yeah. But yeah, I absolutely love this show. There's only one thing that I don't like. That opening song.
It's okay.
It's fine.
Amazing ending, though. Everything
No,
that
the
fucking girl
ending is
does
so
is
good.
amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
probably my favorite ending so far. Yeah.
Sorry, that girl did the fucking opening to Laughing Salesman, and it was the best fucking opening of that
With
season.
the neon shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Laughing Salesman. It looked all
Yeah,
like
yeah.
70s style, and no one fucking watched it because it looked like that. But it was the best fucking show that season. Sorry, I'm gonna get on this fucking perch real quick. Amazing. Get back to the show.
I love the ending. I think it sounds and looks great. That opening sounds like garbage, and the opening animation oversells the metaphor.
He's a stray dog.
Oh.
Do you get it?
Eggplant.
Oh yeah, no, eggplant. This the hardest of any show this season. Like, hey guys, look, we got another front runner. Like, I can say that wholeheartedly. Megalobox is one of the best shows this season.
The show reminds me of Kaiji. It is maybe perfect.
Is it because somebody almost lost tonight?
No, not only that, but he gets scars and he actually takes faults. He has problems.
I am happy that when he takes it off, oh hey, another scar.
I like that.
Guys, we will see you next time.
Oh, it's over.
It's over. We talked about all the shows.
About all the anime.
We're going to
Yep.
keep saving the best for last? That's fine. That's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah.
No, the canonical order in which we go is from on the poll from the least votes to the most votes. And this got the most votes by a country mile, also my lock, because I wasn't leaving anything up to chance. Now, if I'd known that Comic Girls would come in on the 10 spot, I might have locked Gurizeni, but you know what? That's that double blind. I don't know, and you don't know until we both know, so I decided to take no chances.
Hey, so all of you people who complained about his system, I get Comic Girls out of bed and I get to watch him suffer.
Hell
So
yeah.
you all get to watch him suffer. You mad? Guess what? It backfired on him. Now he has to deal with it.
Because we're going to keep, hopefully, voting for Comic Girls.
I will keep fucking this show as long as it keeps me laughing, okay?
Love you.
Later.